Mailbag preview show episode 275, joined by Jack, Will, and Rob Scurry. Big weekend last weekend, Jack. You hated the look of the Valley, but you got a few big price winners there. The best bet was in. What else do we have?
I can't remember what it was called, but Gay trained it and Jordan
Am-
Childs rode it like a weapon.
Ambassadorial.
Ambassadorial up on the speed. I think we were stiff not to win race one, to be honest. It was the only race they swooped in. And full credit to me and full credit to Will and to Lindsay for just getting it done. It looked tough, but we didn't give up. We found a way. We dug through it and probably got a little bit scared Najim Sahel and should have just kept that even tighter, but it was still a good result. But that's a nice horse, I reckon, Najim Sahel. And
Jump $6 BSV.
Yeah. Yeah. Phenomenal.
Who's that talking?
Me, Will.
Jono, introduce Will.
Will. Well, Jack's probably better to introduce Will than me.
This is Will. Will's part of a podcast called Racing Previews, which you can catch on Twitter. Find it on Twitter, Google Racing Previews or Spotify or I don't know, somewhere like that. They deep dive into all sorts of shit. One of the guys on there is challenging to be one of the loosest units I've ever seen in my life. Nick.
Yeah,
and the other bloke's a real sensible sort of operator that's going to go places. And then there's Will, who's smart, and Will is part of my little team. It's Will, Lindsay, and I pricing and attacking the metro meetings in Victoria. So if you get my prices, you're getting stuff from Will as well. And Will's been kind enough to join us. How have you found working with me?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I like it. It's good.
Good fun?
Yeah, it's good to know you.
Anything else?
I don't know. You're fun.
Scurry, any advice?
Yeah.
Just Jack's got his ideas, and I'd best not get in the way of those, and scrape what you can because he's going in the direction.
That's a good summary. I'll back that up.
Righto.
So yeah, last weekend, Inhibitions, you found as your best bet. Jack, Scurry
and Rob
ventured to Victoria and found that as his best bet as well. Benny said St. Lawrence no good.
Oh,
Jono, Rayner,
the boys too with the knowledge.
Glamour Tiger second, unfortunately.
How far in front am I now of the this episode 293? Is it
275? Rob sits 112% pot. You sit 100.33 pot, but you're ahead on percentage of
just smoking the pipe. Got a stack of pony. I'm coming.
All right.
Okay.
Let's take a look at two good cards there at Randwick and Caulfield. If we have time, we'll briefly touch on a New Zealand tip, but those two meetings there look horrific. Randwick, do we want to have a look at the listed staying race, Rob? Did you have any?
Not this week.
No, just ignore that. Hosier was scratched. I saw your favourite.
Yeah, it might be at Wyong tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to being in attendance to. A bit of bonus mail from Wyong tomorrow, backing up to Randwick Saturday. But no, I think we start probably with the sprint with the old boys.
No, what about 3-year-old fillies? That's your wheelhouse, baby. I want to hear what you think about these horses as types. There's angles everywhere in this race. Some are loving for Gay Bott is a get back run on type, which is rare air for this stable. It was fucking enormous last start, I thought. And then there's horses like Tis Invincible, Autumn Ballet, Kamossi. Oh, wow, talk to me.
Look, it's a very even race. I think Luck and Running will decide the winner. Tis Invincible won the other day, so she looked, half back a run. I still sent her out on top. A bit like Inhibitions the other week. I think Jackson made a comment about her looking, best type, but might be improved with the run. So she's there. Autumn Ballet paraded really sharp last start and just got there. I was on Komochi and Estrella or whatever it was called. It was awful for subscribers. Mumbai Muse, I kind of half found that day as well. She's down the bottom here. So there's, I can't see Platinum Jubilee turning it around. Firefly, I think Cigar Flick. Yeah, I'm not sure. Lazago in trouble, but I think there's at least three three main chances, and the market seems to have found them. Komachi seems a bit short to me right now as a Gary Portelli, Jason. You know, as much as I love Jason, Gary's a good trainer. You know, James McDonald on Tis Invincibles, you know, will likely come in, I'd say.
I'm tipping Tis Invincible just from Summer Lovin', just off what you said and general vibe sort of behaviour.
What do you make of Cigar Thick as a type? Because it's a Churchill out of a half to Fangirl, so it's probably bred for a mile.
Yeah, she's still developing, I'd say. She's sort of borderlining wet track type. So, you know, compared to her like Komachi, which is a big, strong thing, she's much more slender. And, you know, whether she keeps growing in next prep depends on whether she'll be half as good as her older sibling. But yeah, look, I think Autumn Ballet's got it. You know, if you look at the history of these Princess Series races, the horses that finish 1, 2, 3 seem to keep finishing 1, 2, 3 in them. They're sort of set weights races, and the form usually holds up.
There's just having a look. There's 3 horses that come through the Rosebud. There was 1.2 lengths between them, and then the 7 that come through the other one, the Silver Shadow. There's only 2 lengths between the top 7, or the 7 that come in from that race. So it'll be key to look at the yard and get see if any have made any improvement off those 2 races.
Yeah, that's right. Tis Invincible could improve, and Autumn Ballet, you know, if that parade keeps improving a little bit, keeps rate like it did, I think it could be the forgotten horse. I can't place this Summer Loving that Jack's talking about, but I'll get a chance to have a look at it.
Well, it's a 3-year-old fillies race at the highest level.
Yeah, it's got Rachel Keane on it.
At right now at this stage of this carnival. So I hope and I pray for units.
All right, shall we move on to the return of Nature Strip, the Concord over 1,000 meters, Group 3.
Unbelievable race.
What are we immediately thinking here, boys? Rob, did you want to go first?
Look, I've it seems hard to back the old champs, but you know they're in it. You know what price? Eduardo seems short now. I think you'll get much bigger on the day, but it wouldn't be surprised if he runs a big race. He gets the sort of softish track which he likes, gets 1,000 meters which he likes. But you know, Nasrullah sticking with him seems like a bit of a sign that he's not completely gone. But yeah, the rest of them, most of them look like they need another, 1,100, 1,200. There doesn't seem to be many 1,000-meter horses in the race. If you make a case for a 1,000-meter horse, it would be on the lead, which is not suited under the weights of the race.
And Eduardo's a fresh horse. He's a track and trip horse. His trial was just like, he was hungry. He got through his gears. Like, I was running through him with Paps last night and started with Remark, who trialled really well last prep and came out and ran a big number and won fresh 1,000 meters. So I was like, let's start here. Trial's outstanding, Remarked. Then I went to Eduardo and I was like, oh my God, this guy's he's not done. He's not done. This is like his opportunity to sort of win a race, I think, is prep. He's a 1,000-meter horse and it scares the shit out of me. Then I went and looked at the old bull and fuck me. This thing just trucked all day at the Big Nature Strip. His second trial he was wide, just trucking. I reckon they'll back him off the trial and off his profile. His track and trip stats are strong. His first up stats are strong. It's very, very it's a tricky race to have an opinion to bet into, because then you've got In Secret, whose trials both were cold. One at Hawkesbury, one at Randwick, I think, and there's no intent. I think they're trying to get her out over further. I think she's like a 1,200 plus horse. And maybe that's an opportunity to bet because she's right in the market. Bella Nipotina, you cannot knock. Mellum goes up there. Trial's hard to read down here versus up there. The difference in quality of production is just sickening for a Victorian. And she's a big price, so you can't ignore her. Remark trialled outstanding. Zapateo trialled fucking huge. Killed Corniche and the thing that beat Corniche last Saturday. He's airborne and a mutter. He got through with Ollie on top. Shout out to Ollie, the GOAT. We're going to miss him. with Ollie on board, Zapateo put a fucking hole in them at Caulfield one day on a bottomless track. Like it was absolutely bottomless, and he killed him.
He's back
He's
to
a
win the
swimmer.
Goodwood as well.
Yeah. And then there's Remarked, who's a good horse and fires fresh. I think it's a phenomenal race. Doesn't need to be worth $1 million. And if the track goes to shit off the Rayner had this week, I'm sure a lot of punters on course will be saying, "Why couldn't we spend $500,000? Just make this worth $500,000, put $500,000 into the track." But it's a phenomenal race. And what do you think, Will?
I think it's an impossible race to price up because you've got Nature Strip, I think he's still half being anchored off his old form. Like first up, he over 1,000 meters at Flemington, he was well beaten behind Ballinipatina, is like who's here, and he's $10 versus I think he's like 260 or something. So I think it just put the whole race depends on how gone or how far off Nature Strip and Eduardo, how much emphasis you put on how far past their best form they are. And like Ballinipatina is like form at 1,000 meters fresh. Like she was a fast finishing third behind I Wish I Win and Coolangatta in the Lightning, and was a moral beaten behind Coolangatta in the Moya 2 starts back. So on that day where it was like heavy rail bias. So I thought if anything, Ballinipatina was probably a little bit big in this race, just all relative to all those sorts of things. But Zapateo is a good horse. It probably just needs it wet though. And in secret, it's not a 1,000-meter horse, I didn't think.
Yeah, I agree. Rule number 1, never force a bet. Next race.
All right, perfect. Race 8 is the Group 2 Chelmsford over a mile.
Here we go.
We're
a couple of so you thinks running around. Calm down, Rob.
Rob
gets like a stack of lead in the pencil for a so you think.
I can't believe I missed that thing of Gaze last week at 4 starts. Pissed him. It's now at 5 starts, 4 wins. It just led and won anyway in the red and black colours.
Anyway, most of the chances come through the Wink Stakes. Rob, did you want to kick us off? You were pretty keen on Moanga that day from memory. He disappointed.
Oh, he was terrible. I used to pour cold water on him when he was coming up, and he seems to be parading better. But maybe they should just retire him. He wants the barn. He'll probably have to sum of mine just for mental health reasons. He seems to be a big price for the way he paraded first up. To me, this looks like there's only 4 weight for age horses in the race. I can't have the 4-year-olds Lindemann or Major Beale. So, the top 2, which I was on last start, the 1 and the 2, Think It Over, seems short in the market. They're expecting a lot of improvement second up. Montefilia, we haven't really talked about how the track's going to play, but I'm guessing it's going to be running a line 3 wide line, so inside barriers again disadvantaged. So I not that she's ever been one of mine, but Hinged, I think it's got the form. I think the mile suits it more than Montefilia and Douay. So yeah, I think it's had the top 2 and the bottom, so 1, 2, and 12 for me.
Wilbur?
It's a tricky race because the favourites Think It Over, who was good first up of 500 days, but that was 14 days ago, and you could probably make a case it might be flat off that run. And it was a really slowly run race too. Montefilia was really good. She's done that before. She flashes home. I think Mo'unga is just like at the stage in his life where he just wants like a trip. Like he's just not competitive over these shorter distances. Like I think he's a great Caulfield Cup sort of horse. But yeah, I thought maybe like I have no real opinion here, but Hinged maybe like she's up on speed. She's like this is her sort of. Like these are the sort of races she'd be targeted towards. And yeah, like there's a couple of these that'd be getting back and running on. And you've got the query over Think It Over backing up its form first up. So I don't know. It's a tricky race, but yeah, I don't know.
Neither mounting yard for sure. I thought Lindemann, Lonhro horse out of Self-Esteem, one of the great Offspring albums of all time. It wasn't suited and was almost single figure SP last start. I think it can improve. It was a steward's note of coughing. It could potentially improve, but I just loved the work of Montefilia last start. Loved it. And I think second run, Uncle Chris, Gibbons off, J-Mac on, barrier 3, do what you want, James. It's a box ticker for me. It is short, They haven't missed it, but fuck. It's a new
Looks-
horse under Chris. That's how I'm treating it. And its first up run was a beautiful thing for an Uncle Chris horse first up.
Looks to hold the, they could very well run the Quinella here, the bottom two mares. But I think she's better suited to 2000, and they're going to go slow here. So I think it's advantage hinged.
Sweet.
All right. Race 9 we'll move on to for our last race. We look at Randwick, the Tramway Group 2 over 1400 meters. Rob, kick us off.
Is this thing immoral, basically?
Don't know what you're talking about. Pericles, I'm guessing, maybe.
Alencia.
Oh yeah, the mare down the middle.
The little line chaser.
Well, no, just won well the other day. Did it beat anything? I'm going to say no. It's obviously well in at the weights. Drawn barrier 9, which looks very nice for this stage of the day. No, I'm going to say not. I know she won very well the other day, but I think Pericles is a very good horse. The rest, hope in your heart is could be on an Epsom path. You'd expect that to run well first up. It's got, Tyler Schiller, a good barrier. So that seems very well in as well. So I'm not saying it's immoral, but, she's probably very hard to beat.
Okay. I haven't got much to add to this race. You, Wilbur?
Alencia was enormous first up. Massive new career peak, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what her best trip is. Maybe she's probably going to go to an Epsom. Maybe she's Chris Waller's Epsom horse, lightly raced 4-year-old mare.
Top seed of his 6 that'll go there.
Of his 10, you mean?
Yeah. Well, his other horse, Madame Pomeroy, should have just about won first up. She's drawn the car park. She can get if it's paying down the outside, she's 3 wide in the running line. I think she can go past Alentia. I think she's a higher quality horse than Alentia. She's a Group 1 winner.
No jockey on her yet that I can see, so possibly giving it a miss.
So
Twitter's going to blow off about that if it runs.
All right. So we have to leave Randwick there. Rob, was your best bet at Randwick? Did you want to touch on that now?
Oh yeah, I guess I have.
He's getting wobbly with his lead. Look at him, he's just wobbling out in front. He's digging post holes.
Look, what is it? I think it's. I'm going to go for something in the 78. I had a big bet the other week on back rower in the first, which is the same price as Tazarl. It was just a number 9 for me when it ran last time at Randwick, and it won, and I thought it's going the right way. Up against mostly horses going nowhere. Perfect Thought by So You Think he's probably a danger, but he's been a bit disappointing. So Tazarl about 380 is my best.
What race is that? Sorry,
that is in race 4.
Race 4, number 12. God, it's going to be hard to beat. Right.
All right.
Well done, Rob. Full credit to you. Caulfield, let's do it.
Across to Caulfield. Go for it, Jack.
The Heath. Rails in the True. 10 of the best. Starting to really enjoy 10 of the best. You can sort of tune out when you need to. And at this stage of the day, I'm thinking about tuning out of race 1 and just sort of trying to gather a bit of data on how this track's racing. I anticipate a relatively even track on Saturday, which makes it difficult to sort of hone into a style of horse and a position in run, which it makes my job harder. I thought that this first light, Lindsay's jump out report graded me up even more, but it doesn't look like it's going too good. Aspen, Colorado has edges versus key rivals, get Celine. There's no form around Bo Rap. Red Phantom SP'd real short versus Fiasco Tess, who was a good run behind our Red Morning yesterday at Sandown, who I think's a beast. Georgie Get Mad, fucking Dennis, gets Blake Shin. And although it looked, if you just glimpse the data, looked like it was in the right spot at Caulfield, it was held up a key stage, and I don't think it was suited. I think it'll improve. And even Michelle Payne's horse shared out. I was meant to wear her beanie. That's what it was. That's why I put that on. I've got her beanie inside. I think Smoking Princess is a chance here. It's lightly raced, has some upside versus most of these that are half exposed, and even the 10 Acclimatize will. It beat Struck Gold, who was steady in the betting yesterday and sort of there to be beaten and was beaten, but it was still a decent run. You couldn't sort of pen it. But that is a Wednesday form. So basically, not that confident. Will?
Yeah, I have absolutely no opinion in this race. Just looks, it's basically just a highway for fucking Melbourne.
All right.
And full credit to him. Race 2, great race. Reinberg's running. Presser's running. Presser was back to beat Uncle Bryn, wasn't it? Was it Uncle Bryn?
Braden Star.
Braden Star, freak, good
Same
horse.
thing.
Great form reference. Great SP versus a good horse. Reinberg's got a stack of upside. First mate was very much blessed in run, but a very good winner last start. Unanimous wasn't suited. Charlton Lane, number 2. Gets Mark Zara, Sydney horse up here, going good. Going to get the peach from Mark Zara there. Worsfold was enormous in what I reckon will be a really hot form reference. It's only a 78 maybe last start, but I reckon the first 3 or 4 across the line are group horses, and Amenable, who won that race, runs around in the Group 1 weight for age Memsies later on this day. I'm going to have a small bet early on Worsfold, just with the shin booking, big rider upgrade, and the fair track. There's no reason not to sort of follow your eye from the review here. But I think Reinberg will be very hard to beat, along with the others I mentioned. And I reckon Paperboy was in inferior ground and not suited last start and can improve. Does have a decent win this track and trip. Will?
Yeah, I'm really keen. Ryanberg. It was 33 days between runs last time, and it ran a career peak. And I think it's just going to explode here. There was a sectional drop off. If you look at your punting form data, sectional drop off from the 4 to the 2 to the 2 to the post, and yeah, like I think he explodes here. I think he's a really, really good horse. And I think he'll be up on top of the speed. Yeah, I just think he's a bit better than these. He's probably group class, I think.
Are you worried they might water the inside again like they did last time?
Oh, well, we'll have to worry about that on the day then, but I don't know. Too much head noise.
Shout out to him. Yeah, well, you're starting to learn the head noise is a pretty big thing for me, and I've got it. And they watered it. Anyway, yeah, he's a superstar, isn't he? He could be very, very good. I agree.
Yeah, he's a good horse.
Anything else, boys? Race 2?
Nope.
Race 3, I think it's a 2-horse race, Will. You?
Yeah, same. Yeah.
What are they?
Ballet Rich and Nunthorpe.
Ooh.
2 favorites. What,
Nunthorpe and Yellow Sam.
Didn't you like Ballet Rich's first up run?
I liked it. Not suited. Going to go good. Jordan Child suits. I just think he's going to get back and he's going to get buried. I think Nunthorpe and Yellow Sam are all forward. There'll be no speed in this race. Nunthorpe's SPs in good races make it deserve to be favourite. And I thought Yellow Sam could improve a little bit here with the blinkers off. Yandel just suits and he's got 53 kilos.
Yeah, it was big splits last time behind Vivienne. And I'll probably go forward here too. But yeah, Jamie going on Nunthorpe's a big positive. It's been backed early. It's as big as $5 early, but you know. But yeah,
I'll make Ballet Rich $4.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And Nunthorpe was beaten by Extreme Step last start, but I'll probably argue Extreme Step was suited that day by the race shape. And Nunthorpe was up on top of the speed first up, started $2.20. It's got some big SPs in, like especially in the vanity, like alongside some good horses like See You in Heaven. And yeah, it deserves to be favourite. Just price is gone now. I couldn't probably back anything at the current price, but I know we'll see on Saturday, I guess.
Race 4 needs a lot more work. It's a tricky race. Any opinion?
Yeah, I thought what's it called? Thorin, who was probably suited last time, but they went quickly at 2,500 meters around Moonee Valley. It's high pressure. I don't think it stayed. It 2 back at the track and trip. It beat Future History, who came out and won was it last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago? I can't remember.
Last Saturday, I think.
Yeah, if it runs to that number, I think it's like really competitive here, and it's $26. So I could just forget the last starts. I think Julius Sandy's a good trainer. He's lifetime profitable. He can handle these sorts of things 30 days between runs off a failure. I mean, if you price it off it's run two back at the track and trip, then it's right in the market. So
I think you can make a case for heaps of them though. Like
yeah. Like Dillian was one of the biggest slaughters of all time, two back, and
yep.
but again, it's drawn 14 here.
1 o'clock's its second ever run in Australia. There was a little bit to like late.
Who's that?
Wine o'clock.
Yeah.
Trotsky. How do I come up with that? Trossetti, Laura Lafferty. It's had a little cheeky jump out between runs. Its SPs are competitive, and you can tie them into a stack of horses here. This is Sino Uno. Mick Kent, second up Australian run. Wasn't suited last start. This buddy, Garachino,
yeah, it's
goes
good.
Downy at Flemington when it was 81s and a 41s late. Was the 10th fastest last 100 meters of the meeting, over 2,000 meters that race was, and gets Blake Shin on from barrier 3.
It's got some decent overseas numbers as well.
I know, so that's what I'm saying. This race has got a lot going on. Affordable's got Celine Gaudreau to Willow, beautiful draw, tricky, hard to knock. Shandon Burrs gets Ollie back. SPs are okay. Good luck to you. That's my point.
Yeah.
Anything else, boys?
Race 5.
Oh, wow. Rob, talk to me about any Sydney horses here.
Race 5. You kick us off. Race 5. Here we go. Here, that Little Bros, Barber, Coincides. I thought was gone, but it's been running well for Gaybots. See, it's been backed. That V8 looked like a nice horse to me when it came up as a late 2-year-old. Yeah, I'll be leaning to that. I'll be waiting for the
Lindsay's penned the trials.
Okay. Yeah, Little Bros was a nice-ish horse. Look, I don't know. I'd be disappointed if Coincide won, because I say he's not a bit. I don't think he's going to measure up in the Sydney 3-year-olds.
I think of the raced horses, like the exposed Saturday horses, group horses, She Light represents the most value. And I think the two horses down the bottom are the most interesting and exciting in Hedged and Legacies. I can't figure out Hedged. It was very well backed in town. Drawn 3. I don't love the draw, but I like Bo. And I really like the win at Seymour. It was rated enormously versus the rest of that card. I think it's above average. I think it's going to get a decent run. But it's sort of priced. They haven't let you have an opportunity to have a bet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at. And Legacies, maybe you wait a run or two, but, it might be too good from here as well. But I thought She Light represented the most value of those that have raced, but then you map the race and I sort of lose that confidence with that horse, and then I just sort of decide to watch and learn.
Yeah, this is I don't know, you've got a Blue Diamond winner running around here. It was Winkers off first up, and they put the Winkers on it when it won the Blue Diamond. The Winkers go back on here. It's much better suited at 1,200 meters, in probably a higher pressure sort of race. So this is a Blue Diamond winner, and it's priced pretty much alongside a horse that's coming out of a Seymour maiden. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it also means that the Blue Diamond winners is it's really like a 72 Blue Diamond.
You didn't rate it.
Yeah, but it's still relative to its age, and that's what we're dealing with again here. And his run first up, Rob, was a $7.50 SP versus Cylinder, who I think you'd be horned up about. I am.
Yeah, it's one of the best Sydney colts.
And he was very good versus that race shape. He was the second fastest from the 400 to the 200 in that race. So I couldn't disagree with Will.
Yeah, and the Winkers go back on, and they went on for the Blue Diamond. Barber's interesting. It started favourite in the Blue Diamond, but I couldn't get it so short. And Legacies is a blue blood filly, but she's set for 1,000 guineas and maybe even further. And same as She Light, V8 2 once further. Coincide I thought was interesting. It's going to be up on speed. Fit horse for Gay Woodice and Adrian Bott. So maybe it was a little bit big, and yeah, a couple of the other ones that probably just want a bit further and or just aren't good enough. So I thought maybe Little Bros was a little bit too big at $7, and Coincide maybe a little bit as well.
We'll skip race 6 because we're running out of time. Do you have an opinion race 7, Will?
I like Benedetta in race 6 and
Race 7, that's in race 7.
Oh yes, yeah, I really like Benedetta in race 7. I think it'll get back to its Flemington number, and it'll smash them.
I think key with that horse is I just want to wait and see how the track races a little bit, and I'm happy to take a little fine to find out that it's racing fair enough to steam in. It does look the best horse in that race.
Yeah.
I thought
Dancer Dubai
Paracel. Sorry,
Dancer Dubai is a little bit big as well, I think.
I thought Paracel was juice as well.
It's the one. It's a proper horse Parasol. It's going through the grades. It's yeah. We'll find out how good Benedetta is.
Well, see, my strategy in that race basically is going to be back Paracel if it's on pace dominant, the pattern, and probably pivot the other way if it's swooping to fair. Race 8, the Hawks Brewing Co. Stakes, 1,100 meter Group 3. Wowie! It used to be known as the Heath, I'm told. Anyway, what a race this shapes up to be. Magic Time, progressive. Asfura, somewhat progressive. Midwest, upside. That's the speed, punters. Nessie, wide but fast. Generation, SPs in Group 1s. It'll be thereabouts. Ingratiating from 4 can sell a little bit handier than you think. Sigh, just on the upward spiral. Kalos, gelded, trials good. Comes to Melbourne, scratch from Sydney. Masked Crusader, SP $9 in an Everest, if you don't mind. Won this race 2 years ago, if you don't mind. 2 from 2 at Caulfield, if you don't mind. It's here, as well as a couple of others. Wilbur, take it away.
This race is interesting because you had Ballantine who's just scratched, I've just seen, but horses like Masked Crusader, Ingratiating Kalos, and then you've got the up-and-coming horses like Magic Time, Sai, and Asphora, who sort of head the market. I've backed Sai already. It's been a bit of a firmer, but yeah, like it just keeps improving. It's run a career peak at every start pretty much. So I see no reason why I can't keep going forward. And if it does that, it's more of an $8 chance than what it is now. Asphora was back to win the Galaxy and probably not suited first up in the Oakley Plate it was. And yeah, like it's a tricky race, but if Asphora gets out, I'll probably back Asphora. I'm on side already. Ingratiating is probably a little bit big, but like at the same time, I doubt he can win. I think it's kind of weird that Kalos is shorter than Ingratiating. I don't know, just subconsciously, I think Ingratiating is a better horse than Kalos. And then you got Masked Crusader, who's a bit of a grey up. I don't know what the trials have been like, what Lindsay thinks of the trials, but
first one average, second one okay.
Right, okay. Well, his best form is real strong,
and at this track and trip, probably.
Yeah, but he form last prep, like he had 2 runs last prep, and they were both awful. So,
and he's just to throw a bit more. Like you're way too young for it, but if you want some more greys, I believe he is returning from throat surgery.
Right.
Look, I just saw one pop out the side there. That makes it even harder because he could just improve, and he doesn't need to improve. He just needs to get back to his best.
Yeah. And Generation's best is pretty good. Like he's a horse that's been back to win like real good races, but he hasn't quite.
He halved in price to win a Moya or a William Reed or something one night.
Yeah, William Reed, yeah. And Magic Time, who's progressive as well, but I think he's just a little bit too short, I think. What do you reckon?
You go, Rob.
Well, I backed Asphora in the Galaxy and then followed my money west because I thought it looked like a progressive, good up-and-coming horse. So that I think our man Benny
should have won the Galaxy.
Our man Benny said it's his best of the day. That right, Jono?
Correct. Yep.
So that'll be up there for him. Mas Crusaders winning this race, he's got to finish like Chautauqua. He can make horses look like they're standing still. He's a weight for age proper type beast. Any sprint track anywhere around the world, he'd fit right in as a proper looking Group 1 horse. Sounds like Will reckons there's no ceiling on this side. Jack, no ceiling.
No, not necessarily no ceiling, but it keeps improving. So,
so we don't know where the ceiling is.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it yet, Rob. That's what we're trying to say. It could have hit it, but we're not sure. And
he ran the fastest for the 2 last start. It's had 50 days off as well. So,
I think this race is very much in the same mold as the $1 million race in Sydney. Fucking tough. As far as got Mitch Aiken riding on it, he goes at. I'm not knocking him as a bloke, but this is a good race, and he goes at 8%, and he rides a lot in the bush, and it scares me at this price point. I think it's the most likely winner of the race, and I do think the map and the ride's relatively simple, provided it jumps and is put into the race. Kalos is a nice horse, and it's the sort of horse, Rob, when they keep these horses around for as long as they keep this guy around, he's running races that they've always thought he was good. Now he's gelded, scary. Masked Crusader, I hope it drifts and the track's fair, and I'm going to have a bet, I think. Just gut feel bet too. No real justification for the sheets. I agree with everything that Will has said. I'm not as keen on Sai, though. I even like Wee Nessie, but I just hate the map and the barrier. The horse I think is overs is Midwest. I think you can tie Midwest in through some of these horses. If I'm correct, am I making that up?
Yeah, no. It started 480 versus Maria Mia, who won the Galaxy.
Yeah, there you go.
I remember it was a good thing beat, I think, that day at Rose Hill.
It's just real fast. It's a real fast horse, and this is sort of it potentially, if the track's playing a certain way, which even when we think it's going to be even, I'd say more than half the time that ends up sort of pivoting to on pace, and it's never really a big disadvantage to be on pace. Barrier 5, D Moore, one of the deepest thinkers in racing. I think this presents a really good opportunity for him to win a group race, and I think at the prices, if I had to bet right now, that's the way I would play this race, which is race 8, number 9, Midwest. Let's head to race 9, punters. It's the Group 1 Wait for a. Just been signed out of my punting form. It's not even worth as much as the race in Sydney, the Concord, but it's a phenomenal race with a great field. There's upside in a bunch of them. There's a huge amount of horses fresh. The barriers played a big role in this race too. The map's tricky. I Wish I Win, who might be the best horse in Australia, is in for a different preparation of what it had last. It's in for a weird preparation, which is going to confuse a lot of punters. It's drawn 1. It has to get back worse in midfield, you'd anticipate. And I think that makes its task really tricky. Osipenko is a beast of a horse, I think, and drawn well. Uncle Chris sends it down our way. Amenable, we spoke about earlier, comes out of that benchmark 78, but has some sort of ability, you'd think. Brightside's drawn awfully again. Western Empire was just horrendous last start. I was on. I'm going to let it go without me. Aegon was huge, but I think it's a horse that will always be a good run, but just might not be thereabouts to win. Anna Visto, I wanted Lindsay to stamp the trials, and he didn't, because it's the 1400-meter horse here that could just sort of steal it at a good price, but its trials were not impressive, and therefore I can't back it. So I'm basically just going to steam right on into Gaybot, Alligator Blood. I think this is the best bet at Caulfield. The trials, I was watching a couple of Sydney trials last night, watching for Sydney horses, and I saw its trial. Holy fuck. That's the definition of trucking. He had a stack of pony. Biceps would have been aching by the time he finished that trial. He was just trying to hold this thing. He was just traveling deluxe. He gets the perfect map. You have to ride him positive. And I think he ticks the most boxes. I really like I Wish I Win as an animal. I just think the map makes it tricky for it at the price, and the same story for Mr. Brightside, who does have race fitness on its side. But I am very, very, very keen on Alligator Blood in the Memsey.
Yeah, it's a tricky race. I think the market's got it relatively right. I think Mr. Brightside's into favourites some joints, which is interesting. I think the map's really tricky for it. It either has to go all the way back or because it's the Caulfield 1400 meter shoot. You have to make a decision pretty much before you jump.
Very good.
And
Too.
it
It's
could
tricky.
yeah, it's a tricky start. So you could be caught wide from 15. I think I wish I win. I think it's going to be a lot more for than what some people are thinking. Like it does have gate speed. It's not like it was. It was out the back in the TJ Smith, but it was a TJ Smith and it was heavily restrained to the back of the field. And then you've got Alligator Blood who's just going to go straight to the front, and he's got big SPs versus Mr. Brightside. Like he started $2.60 in a $2.70 in a
Yeah, I didn't even get to
an
that.
All-Star
Like
mile.
he should be
Yeah.
shorter than Mr. Brightside, regardless.
Yeah.
The market told you if you ran the All-Star Mile 100 times, he's going to win more times than Mr. Brightside won.
Yeah.
And
the big edge
it's
for
a
Mr.
fact he's got a
Brightside
better
is
map here.
yeah, the big edge for Mr. Brightside is he's had the run, but like I don't know. I think there's a bit of a narrative going around that Mr. Brightside's the best miler in the country, and I still think Alligator Blood holds that.
Mm.
Like at Alligator's Blood's best, I think he is still a better horse than Mr. Brightside. Then you've got I Wish I Win, who's got that massive number in the TJ. Like winning a TJ is better than anything Alligator Blood or Mr. Brightside could ever do. Like he ran the best number any horse in Australia. Ran pretty much for the entire year. Like he's the best horse in Australia purely on like peak rating. And yeah, if he like gets out just purely off the map being first up or whatever, if he gets out to like a backable price, I could see myself backing him, but I also see myself backing Alligator Blood.
Rob, talk to me about also. Oh, sorry.
Aegon's interesting because I think it's a bit big, but it's at the same time, I think it's just a little bit below these. Like it's a hard
I
horse.
think if
to
it drew, if
price.
it's same price and drew 7, I'd be tempted.
Yeah, same. Yeah, exactly. But like, it's just going to get back. Like purely, like he's probably big at 30s, but at the same time, like I just sort of can't see him. Like he's going to be running alongside Mr. Brightside. Or I Wish.
Now listen to me. You whippersnapper. You're saying
Yeah.
peak rating, I Wish I Win. Wasn't that TJ on a wet track?
Yeah, it was a heavy 9, I think.
That means it's not a peak rating. Heavy track ratings are bullshit.
This is good, Will, because Rob doesn't do any form, but he's got theories of ratings, which I love. I love you, Rob.
But he did beat Giga Kick, which is it's good form for this.
For sure.
Rob, talk to me about Osipenko.
Just nice walking horse.
Nice.
Yeah, really nice. I remember it beat Baroque Road first up, I think it was, as on a Saturday. I was on Baroque Road. He won yesterday. Shout out to Jackson, MYM, came in. We edited at the time. Lovely walking horse, perfect wallet, great attitude, just is it a Group 1 horse?
Probably just
proper Group 1 horse. I'm not sure. And I think there are at least three proper Group 1 horses in this race in the top 3 numbers 1, 2, 3. I like what you're saying about Alligator Blood. He strikes me as just a real warrior. Just wants the battle, loves to win. Great racing style. Tim Clark, 1400 Caulfield, sort of suited.
I also think, like, as a responsible wagering advisor, we try and do on this brand forever. If you take 550 Alligator Blood today, I'm pretty confident you're going to beat SP.
Yeah. The other one,
I think it's the one they're going to back.
From Waller's stable, if you like Osipenko, you've got to like Princess Grace. It's run just pipped by Fangirl coming up the worst part of the track. Will it flatten off that huge first up run possibly? But what price would Fangirl be in this race?
I'm with you, Rob. Close to Fangirl. Fangirl just slightly knocked off by I Wish I Win in the Golden Eagle. What I like.
Yeah.
Shin on.
Oh, like, yeah, splitting hairs.
It is probably
Yeah.
short enough at like
Yeah.
what, $8, $8.50. But,
I saw $10 like 2 hours ago, and I kind of half thought about it. Anyway,
Hmm.
$8.50.
God, I love you. Doesn't do form thing about knocking off horses in a Memsy. Fucking all time you are. You
Sydney
nicked any
horses.
scooters lately?
No, I just pretty happy with that upgrade. With that upgrade the other day, probably $200 one I found down the road. Anyway, my daughter loves it, but not she's riding it that much. But it's just, she agreed with it. It's the best one we've
Has
ever
anyone
had.
here watch it? Has anyone here watched Succession?
Yeah, I love it. I'm watching it now.
I was talking to Pistol. I was talking to Pistol yesterday, and I'm into like season 2. And I
Yeah.
said, "You remind me of someone on that show," and he thought,
Uh-oh.
who do you think?
Oh, you're going to say Macaulay Culkin's the Culkin character.
Yeah, I'm thinking Roman massively, and he
Yeah.
thought I was going to say the older brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Cameron from Ferris Bueller, Alan Hull, I think his name is, the actor.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Roman Roy about Pistol Pete. Anyway, back to the ponies. Welcome to the mailbag, Will. Still do whatever we need to do.
I don't know.
So Rob and Jono are with Princess Grace. Is that what I'm hearing?
Nah. Well, I like you. I'll back them both.
I'm with Alligator Blood.
Yeah.
And Will, you're with who?
I don't know. It depends which way the market goes, I think.
If you had
But
to
probably
bet right
alligator
now.
blood at the price, like $6 for alligator blood's big, I think.
Yeah, $5.50.
It's points bet $6
Oh, good.
is best price.
Yep, fair. That's good. $6 points bet. Shout out to them.
Am I allowed to do that? Sorry if I can't do that.
You can do whatever you want on the mailbag whilst we're loose and free currently.
Can we
Should probably look at that.
Can we get a gamble responsibly in there somewhere? You think of what else?
Gamble
it could be?
responsibly, 1-800-858-858, or visit the website if you have any issues with your wagering. But you should listen up and just learn to gamble responsibly, which is managing your bank, never forcing a bet. There's always another race. But if you need help, 1-800-858-858.
Perfect. Did you want to have a look at race 10? Was there any?
I had half an opinion here.
Oh, good.
Go for it.
It's a tricky sort of race, but I thought horse like, what was he, Scratch? No, Buffalo River. His best form, Caulfield, 1400 meters. I'd love it if it was wet. I don't think it will be. There's no rain forecasted, but he led a brutal tempo in the Memsey first up. Last prep, second up, he ran a peak for that preparation. If he does that here, I think he's very, very competitive versus some of these horses.
I agree. Hope it's wet, but I really hope it's not. It looks like a reasonable afternoon. It was horrible yesterday. I haven't played one game of golf this week, and I'm trying to get it there tomorrow. Had to go to the monster trucks on Sunday, Rob, because Emma was crook.
I saw your content.
Holy fuck, man! When I left the monster trucks, it reminded me of my first night out in the cross, and walking out at 6 a.m. and just my head was spinning, my ears were hurting. It was so
loud. Back to races, with your segues. Superium in that race always been one of mine. I might even have to have something on it for the service, because if it wins without me, I will. Even if I have a winning day, I won't enjoy my night as much as I will. Superium, he just seems to be unsuited. He runs a lot of seconds and a lot of fourths. I have to have a look at his trial. I see his trial behind Sebenak there, Jack. Of course, that you were interested in purchasing a while.
I paid $250,000 for it, I think.
Well, anyway, look, he might need the run, but he looks like he's better than a lot of these horses in this race.
What about Colino? How was it last start?
Off the map, backed. I think his best run is his first run. He's one of those horses. I thought he was a touch disappointing yesterday, and he seems very well fine. But all your SP profilers, he was running against some pretty good horses. That Buenos Noches is heading for the Everest probably. So, he's a chance off. The market seemed to think he was going to win last start, but I prefer to back him first up on
the old SP profile was copping a bit of growth on the Sphere last week, I saw.
What was that?
The old SP profile was copping a bit of grief on the sphere. I saw it.
Hmm.
I think some people still don't understand what it means and why
Hmm.
it's important. But anyway,
Jack, did I hear you say alligator blood was your best bet at Caulfield?
yeah. I want to
Alright.
fatten up that pot. $5.50. I'll lock in $6, please.
No, you can't lock it in. You get Betfair starting price. Will, bet.
I'll go Reinberg.
Randwick, perfect. All right, and we'll have a quick brief look at one.
Hang on. What, Rob? Yours is
Tazarel.
Tazarel, race 4,
Yeah.
Randwick.
good. It'll start $2. I think.
You think?
Hmm.
I just sent it. Because I'm just sick of getting to the day and the thing I've tipped on this show is end up short and then I don't fucking back it for the subscribers and then it wins. It's just doing my nah.
Let's head to Kiwi Land, John.
Yeah,
Finish
all
off
right.
in style. You need a lift.
Two of the worst meetings I've ever seen in New Zealand history.
Which is a big call by itself.
Gets pretty bad. These are pretty bad. Wanganui and Rickerton. I've gone for Wanganui. You like that one, Jack?
Wanganui.
Race 4, number 13, the Matador. Basically,
Why do you like it, John?
yeah, thank you. First up of 2 trials, it ran second in the listed Champagne Stakes before going out for a spell on a heavy 10, gets a heavy 10 here. 2 trials were decent. The rest of this field just look very average, and think he's probably above average. Ideally would like to see him, but I just think he'll be good enough for his rivals here. I think there's $2.60. Bank the win. Thanks for coming. Simple.
Short and simple. Like it.
Hmm.
Right, guys. That's been the mailbag. Any mailbag bloodstock horses to sell, talk about, or do?
Exeter racing tomorrow at Pakenham. The last race.
God's Plastic. Shout out to Jimbo.
8:45 draw as well. Looks like a suitable race for him. So Vobis Gold for him as well. Hopefully he can snap up some of that.
Full credit to the Vobis operation. That's been the mailbag preview, episode number 273. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend.
275.
I hope the ponies 275. I hope the ponies run for you, and I hope you have a great weekend. Yeah, that's about all I got for you. Bye for now.